Episode number 243 with Pavlos Kasselouris.
I got X-ray specs for eyes. I can see right through you. I can read.
Welcome to In It to Win It. I am your host, Steve Barton, and I'm back again with Daniel G. Daniel, how we doing?
Hey, doing good, Steve. Thanks for having me on. I'm like your sidekick or something here.
Yeah, we're developing a Batman and Robin.
I'm like
here.
your Chelsea handler, Mexican midget out here.
Yes.
But yeah, excited to be on. Cool to have Pablo on the show. I thought it'd be pretty interesting, his take on real estate things. Yeah, it's a pretty cool story. So yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah. He's he was a listener from way back in the day, years ago, and he contacted me on Twitter, and or maybe it was Facebook, one or the other. And I listened to his story, and he's from Greece. He came out here to America, kind of settled in Florida now, and he only came out 7 or 8 years ago, and now he owns multiple properties, all long-term rentals. And with COVID, unfortunately, his family, wife and kids are stuck in Greece. They went to visit and haven't been able to come back. And he's kind of using the time. He's like, well, I've always liked poker. I've, played profitably now for years. And he said, I just thought, well, I'll start my own Twitch stream and just start playing full time. And
I wonder if he planned it. He took his wife and kids out there. He's like, well, maybe they can't come back.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's really ahead of the game if he did that.
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
but he lives out in Miami Beach, and I just an interesting story, and I think it's
it's gonna be great. I think he's originally from originally he kind of settled in Daytona, but we'll let him talk about that and why he left.
Yeah.
So have you been to Greece?
I have. I went once. I was only there for maybe. Actually, I was probably there a week. I saw Athens. Wow. I saw the Parthenon, and I went out to one of the islands. What's it called?
Mykonos?
No, it was.
It's like where everybody goes, right?
Eos. Eos is
Eos.
What yeah.
Okay. Eos. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you were out there.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. So you'd go back?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
I tried to go to Greece, but I only made it as far as Macedonia, and I tried driving.
Oh, how did that go?
Well, it was dead of winter, and I was in Bulgaria, and decided to drive to Greece.
Okay.
I got up dead of winter. Like I got up to the top of a mountain, which happened to be the border crossing to Macedonia, where Alexander the Great's from, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I'm here to see the country."
They're like, we don't allow rich Mexican midgets. I'm sorry.
Right? Yeah. So there's like people like pulling donkeys and bales of hay and carrying like single tires, down the road. It was seriously like back in time. So I don't know if it's like the exact tourist destination, Macedonia, but hey, it's like north of Greece. So I was trying to drive through, but made as far I don't know, to Macedonia, and like I said, I had some terrible food, and that was really about it. Not a whole lot. Yeah, a couple statues of Alexander the Great, and kind of took off.
Well, we were going to record an episode, I think like a week or two ago, and then my cohort on this show came down with COVID.
Yeah, that would have been me. I got the vid.
You got the vid, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody really wanted to see me, hang out with me. Yeah, kind of in recovery, quarantine.
Yeah, it was strange. I would say probably, I don't know, 3 times a week I'm able to make it over to your house and lick your toilet seat. And I just didn't really feel like it these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, nobody really wanted to come over and lick my toilet seat over the past couple of weeks. I have to admit, pretty terrible.
Yeah.
It's kind of I had a lonely COVID existence for the past couple of weeks. I was in quarantine. I would be like, listening, and I was like, are those rats outside, like this rustling, I'm like, no, it's just my aunt and my cousins leaving me food and water in the driveway.
Yeah. and texting me.
Yeah, texting me. Yeah, hour later. Hey, by the way, we left you some water and chicken soup.
Yeah, standing 12 feet away with 3 masks on.
Yeah, like nobody wants to see you. Like it's a very lonely COVID existence. It's like I burned out all the Netflix, Roku. Like I don't even want. I'm about to just discontinue all my memberships because I've seen everything.
You know it's bad when you're sitting on the couch and you're watching a series and then the message comes up and it says, "Are you still there?" And you're like, "Wow, that means I've been watching this same thing for 4 hours without having pushed a fucking button because it thinks I'm asleep or like out of the house."
Yeah, it's pretty terrible, man. I'm not gonna lie. If you get the vid, I mean, it's like a really bad flu, but like it just what sucks about it, it's like you just have zero life.
Yeah.
It's like taking the dog for a walk's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, it just zapped you of energy, right?
Yeah, it's so you get crazy body, just the body aches, and you basically feel like you're about like 80 or 90 years old for about a week.
Wow.
Just the aches and and you just can't do anything, and you just have no appetite. But yeah, no, everything's fine now. I mean, but yeah, it's. I don't think I really want to go through that again, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna vote against one.
Yeah, it's definitely affected our. We have a cruise that we've been supposed to go on now for almost a year. We've got a cruise that we've never
the
taken,
initial
but
thought,
we paid for.
Yeah, it's completely paid for. I mean, the initial thought was, hey, there's not going to be any old people on the cruise.
Yeah.
Right? We can eat all the bacon we want and hang out in like mankinis all day.
Yes, yeah. I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, it's just going to be a bunch of young people. This will be open in like June.
Good party situation.
Yeah, it's the perfect thing. And
I was down with the cause.
Yeah. Not so much.
Yeah, well, didn't it get canceled twice on us so far? So.
Yeah. Get what?
It got canceled twice.
Canceled twice, yeah. And I checked, and there's just nothing on the horizon. So I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, probably not the smartest thing to do right now, but at the time, it sounded great.
Oh, it sounded amazing, yeah.
Like I could just work out and eat bacon all day. This is awesome.
My tan.
Yeah, get a tan and ice cream all day, buffet. I'm down.
Yeah, go down to Ensenada, get a sombrero.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
I bought some Coke.
Oh, would that come with hookers, or what do you mean? Oh, sorry, wrong show. You mean like stock?
Stock, yes. Coca-Cola. There we go. Yes.
Oh yeah, get your mind out of the gutter. Yeah, totally. Yep. Coca-Cola.
K-O.
Yeah,
Yes.
ticker code KO. Not with the C. I get it. Sorry, wrong show.
Wrong show. Yeah. That's the late night version.
Sorry, kids. Yeah, that's a good buy. It was actually down a bit. I actually had a pretty good drop on it. I saw that. I actually ended up picking a bit of that up myself.
Yeah, I think it's a good buy. It just a great dividend. And then what kind of solidified my thought too was like after I bought it, maybe I'm just like trying to reinforce a good decision or something. I saw that Warren Buffett's also got a big position in it with Berkshire Hathaway. So that.
Well, that's because he used to be a Pepsi guy, and then he started drinking Coke. So.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was originally like a Pepsi drinker, like hardcore. And there's some story behind it. And I don't know the exact details from his book that I read, but yeah, then he switched over to Coke.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, I switched to Coke. I'll just buy like 1 billion shares. Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought that was a good purchase. And I think this is just one of these ones that we'll probably just have and just keep. And
yeah, it's like a buy and holder.
Yeah,
steady Eddie.
Steady Eddie, as we say. Yes.
Yeah. Anything else? I'm just trying to think of anything else that was good that was to be bought. And
let's see, what have we gotten? We killed it on AMC. I hesitate even bringing it up because anyone that's listening to this now, it's already too late.
Yeah. Doubled the money.
Doubled the money within like a week and a half. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I'll take credit for that one.
That is all you, my friend. That was a good one.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't something you'd probably want not something you'd, want to tell people to buy though, because that was kind of risky.
Yeah, it is very risky, and it's It's the time has already passed, so it's a moot point.
It's pretty much just luck.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It was just a really cheap, and I was like, well, how could it go down any lower?
Yeah.
That was kind of the thought process. It wasn't like we technically traded it or anything. I was like, well, just throw it on the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah. It's stuck.
Yeah, blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
I did get IBM today.
I like
one.
IBM.
I like that one a lot.
Computing.
It's 5% dividend, and it just dropped about 15 or 20% in like a day or two. And
I think it's a good long term. A lot of people don't realize they're really into cloud computing very, very heavily. So it's a bit of AI stuff going on. So I think it's a really good. I believe it's really good, just kind of long term kind of deal there.
yeah, I think so too. I
Yeah.
think it. I don't plan on selling it. I ended up getting 10 shares and 5% a year. I'll take it and never sell.
Yeah. 0.5% of your bankroll, all good.
There you go.
Yeah, and then renewables, and she gets some renewables as well. You get some. BEP. Is that Nextra BEP or is that old stuff?
Oh, that's old stuff. I think it's too late to recommend those now.
Yeah,
That's,
they're kind of high.
Yeah, we got those a month and a half ago, and they're all up 10-15% or so. I feel like that would be bad advice if we said to get them now.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, but right on. Well, let's bring on Pavlos.
Awesome, man. Excited.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick break, and then Pavlos Kasselouris.
I got supersonic speed that I used to run to you. I stretch my arms for miles and miles and around.
Pavlos, what's up, brother?
Good. How about you?
Good, man.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Yep. Pretty excited.
Good. It now we met. You sent me a message, and you've been a longtime listener of the show back when we were the Heads Up Poker podcast. And right away after talking with you on the phone, I realized I was like, we need to have this guy on the show. He seems to be kind of a wizard when it comes to long-term rentals. And lately, you've been playing poker full time. A gambler, which goes right in line with the theme of the show, and so we're excited to have you on.
Yeah, we're a good mix. Poker, gambling, beautiful women.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
Good vices. These are all very good vices.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is how real men live.
Exactly. And obviously, financial freedom. I mean, that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, give us just tell us a couple minutes of your story. You're originally from Greece, and you came out here in 2013, and just kind of go through your story.
Yeah. So, as you know, Greece had the financial crisis back in 2011. When after the recession hit here, then it moved up to Europe, and Greece was in a bad spot. They started cutting wages, benefits, things like that. So we discussed with my wife, and we said, "Do you think it makes sense to go to the United States?" And we said, why not? So we both of us used to be in the Air Force in Greece.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
And we had our jobs and salaries and things like that. But I don't know. I wanted to take a shot. I was 32 years old, I think, right? If I do the math correctly. And it was now or never back then.
Yeah.
So that's when we decided, to come here. I had an open door because my mom is American, so I didn't have problems with paperwork and all that.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah, that's good.
The leap
that's
of
huge.
faith.
Yeah, that was legal. Some good chain migration right there.
Yes.
Exactly,
Yes.
Yeah. The bad news is when I submitted my resignation after a month, my wife tells me, you know what, you need to get your resignation back. I said, why?
Oh.
I'm pregnant.
Oh, wow. God. Okay.
Yeah.
No pressure. No pressure.
Yeah, no
No pressure. I said, no. It doesn't work like that. The train cannot turn back. It goes only straight ahead.
Wow, that's a yeah. So when she came over, Pablos, was she pregnant or did she give birth already? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, all our plans went down
Yeah.
the drain. So I came by myself
Oh wow. Okay.
first to set
Yeah.
up the whole situation, and since we didn't have any, health insurance and all that, she had to stay back. And I came January of 2013 by myself. Oh, so yeah, actually, right now it's been 8 years. 8 years,
Wow.
January of 2013.
Hmm.
And
Took a leap of faith. I love it.
Yeah.
yeah, and then I went back for the birth, obviously, of my first daughter, and waited 2-3 months, and I brought everybody here.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Cool. And when you came here, you settled in Florida, right?
Yes. I went to Daytona Beach area
Okay.
in Florida, where I had my uncle there, and so I can have a little bit of guidance with basic stuff, because it's a new country. I don't know nothing about it, so
Yeah, new
it
economy,
helped.
things work different. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
And what did you start doing?
Initially, when I was in Greece, I started studying real estate investing, and I wanted to start accumulating real estate. And I said, okay, what would be a good profession to do that complements that? So I said, I'm going to go get my real estate license.
That makes
And I
logical
did.
sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I got my real estate license. I started, prospecting and, whatever a good salesman do. But the income was not as much as I thought it would be.
Okay.
Mm.
I guess people won't trust that immigrant guy from Greece with the weird accent.
Okay.
So I said, okay, plan B. What do I need to do? I said I need to go back to my construction background, because that's what I used to do in the Air Force for Greece. I was like a construction manager.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
So I said, okay, what I'm gonna do with a degree from the Air Force Academy? I said, okay, I need to do something here. So I enrolled at the online course of University of Florida, get some credits there for construction management, and started looking for a job. That happened middle of 2014. So I found a job as a project engineer. And after 3 months, I got fired.
Oh.
Yes. I didn't go along with the superintendent there.
He pissed in his Cheerios, huh?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I when I retired, resigned basically. I left that as a captain. Okay, you're a fireman. I mean,
Yeah.
I was
You're up there.
Up there, exactly. And when you have a superintendent telling you, "Here's the broom, go sweep," there were a little bit of clash there,
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, I learned my lesson. I'm not gonna say I was right or wrong. I learned my lesson. I'm gonna leave it that way. So I did perform good at my next job.
Okay. Yeah, you had to start from the bottom. That had to be pretty humbling.
Not only that, when I lost the job, it was summertime, and my wife was in Greece, and I was by myself. And I lose my job. I was ready to quit, go back to Greece.
Wow.
I had to do some serious thinking, because things were not working.
Yeah.
I was not making enough money. I didn't feel that, that the environment was very inviting. And, I was away from home. I started getting homesick, and asked me what I did.
What'd you do?
What'd you do?
I was browsing on Facebook and I see a friend of mine. It was the World Series of Poker at that time, and he was in Vegas for the World Series. And I said, you know what? I asked him, and I said, hey, do you have space in your room? You know, he said, yeah. So I booked a ticket. And I went to Las Vegas.
Of course. What else would you do?
I have no
That's
money.
awesome.
I'm depressed. Let's go to Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, isn't that logical?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what all the
Listen,
smart, cool kids are doing.
every decision you make in life, there's there's probably something that can happen from that. So while I was in Vegas, I met another Greek guy, and he told me he has an uncle in Miami, and he has a construction company. And I'm gonna hook you up. You can go and interview. I said, shit, wonderful. You see? So
It's serendipitous.
Yeah. I had a decent run while in the World Series. I played a little bit of tournaments there, and actually the trip was free at the end of the day. Plus, I had that added connection.
Yeah.
So I came back and I said, okay, I'm gonna go. I called this guy, and he said, yeah, come by and let me talk to you. So my wife has a cousin here in Miami Beach, and I stayed with him, and he was a server at a big high-end restaurant, and he was making good money. Okay. He was making something like $2,000, $2,500 a week. Okay.
Wow.
Which that was a lot. I said, shit, that's
Yeah,
good
for a
money.
server, that's impressive.
Yeah, exactly. So I went to that guy at the construction company. He says, you know what? I mean, I like you, but I don't have any projects now to put you in, and come ask me when there's a hurricane. I said, are you kidding me? I'm gonna wait until a hurricane comes, and then you're gonna be busy and you're gonna need me.
Yeah. Are you gonna watch the weather report for the next 6 months?
Yeah, just praying for people to get wiped
Yeah,
off.
just praying for like disaster. Yeah, why
How
not?
about a good tsunami? Can we get a tsunami? Will that count?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I talked to her cousin, and he says, and I asked him, hey, do you happen to, and while I was in Miami, I must say that I was super, super excited with Miami. I mean, from Daytona to come to Miami Beach, I walked Lincoln, and I saw, people dining out, nice bars, nice people. And I said, shit, I forgot that I was homesick.
Wow.
It really felt that it was like Greece,
Yeah.
that the nice weather, everything about it, the vibe. And I asked her cousin, I said, hey, are they doing any hiring? So I sat down with the manager there at the restaurant, told him my story. I mean, he was very excited about me because, he said, you left a secure job as an officer to come to United States. And now the only position I have is a busser.
Mm-hmm.
I said,
You mean server? You mean server, right? No,
No.
He's like,
It was a busser. I said, you know what? I don't mind. I'm going to start low and work my way up because I was, looking at that 2,000, 2,500 a month, a week. And bussers made about half of that, which again, it was awesome. Making $52,000 a year. That was good.
Yeah.
And and pretty much started bussing tables.
Huh. And then from there, when did you start to get into? Tell us the process about your first rental.
Okay, so the first property that I bought was the one that I lived in. So that initial time when I came and I had to, set up things. We basically took all our net worth that we had. That meant my poker bankroll. I sold my Mercedes back in Greece, all our savings. My dad gave me a little bit. So that was our entire life savings because I came 32 years old, right? I wasn't 20, I used to work and play poker too and have some funds available. So we bought the first property. It was a short sale. but it was very, very smooth process. I didn't have to wait a lot, and obviously I bought it cash, but it was really cheap. But it was a disaster, you know.
What was your
Cockroaches
whole
and all that.
bankroll when you came to the U.S.?
About, I mean, between my wife and I, about 150K.
Okay, and you were able to buy cash, no mortgage, your first property. Is that what you mean?
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
From that money, that's how I was able to buy the first property and make the necessary repairs and withstand a year and a half with very little income.
Okay, yeah.
And that was in Daytona, right, Pavlos?
That was in Daytona, yes. And from all those books of real estate investing that I had read and all the financial, because I was listening to podcasts, I was trying to educate myself, you know, I had started, you know, writing my net worth, and I was looking at my net worth going down and down and down. And that's when it was the period that I told you I was ready to, you know, leave everything and go back because I was seeing that, you know, I'm doing something wrong. So that property, it was, I had to buy cash, no loans, right? I couldn't do anything. And then after all that, I have a small capital remaining, something like
how much was the house?
25K.
Okay, so the house was a little over 100.
The first one, it was about 70, and I think I put in 30,000 because it needed everything. I mean, new roof, new kitchen, complete renovation.
That's a rebuild, not a remodel.
Yeah, that's a little more than a fixer-upper.
Yes.
That's like
exactly. I mean, I put a lot of sweat equity in. I mean, I did sub out all the things that I could not do myself, like the roof, like the HVAC, like you know, certain plumbing things, electrical things.
You're your own contractor.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, that was my background after all. So, but all the, you know, the simple stuff, I did it myself, you know, like the demo initially, the paint, the kitchen, I did by myself. Tile, I learned, but I did only backsplash. That was the easiest.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Tile,
Plus,
you really got to plan ahead. You know, you got to mark everything out before you start, before you lay that first one.
I had a guy with $1 square foot. That was a steal, you know?
Wow.
Yeah. Cheap. Florida.
Wow. Huh. Wish we could get that here.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been in California, but I'm guessing prices are very high there.
They're kind of, for lack of a better word, they're retarded.
Yeah, that's the word I like to use.
Yeah, it's I would say like a good tile person's gonna cost you at least like, you know, 40 to 60 an hour minimum. Yeah. Like a good one, probably more. So yeah, it can get expensive. Yeah, most of your costs are all labor here in California for the most part. The materials are cheap, right?
Yeah, the materials are probably what they are across the rest of the country for the most part.
Yeah.
But labor it ain't cheap.
Labor is not cheap here at all. Yeah. So I think to build here is like, it's just something. I mean, in your area, Steve, I think it's like $300 or $400 a square foot or something. It's just crazy.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, that's it, dude. Like $300-400 a square foot.
Oh, right on. Yeah, well, right now, with just the cash I have in the house, I could probably find 2 square feet that I could just stand on. Can't move.
Yeah. I'm thinking we need to go to Florida.
Yeah. So
everybody's coming to Florida.
No, I know it's hugely growing. I mean, there's a lot of investment people going over. I mean, it's growing. You know, all the cities are growing. I mean, yeah, there's a lot going on. So it's good to get your perspective.
Don't vote blue if you come like Californians do. They leave California, okay, and then turning blue the rest of the country, like Texas, for example. Don't do that. Stay where you're at.
Yes.
Yeah, this is we're all socialists out here, right?
Yeah, stop fucking up our other states, California.
Yeah, I know.
Stop fucking them up.
Yeah, you're like, stop fucking moving here. I couldn't agree with you more.
It's like the COVID virus, but with blue.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, well, that's what it's like in Austin, Texas, right? It's like it's all Democrats now there.
Look at Arizona. Look at Arizona.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yes. Yeah, that one
yeah.
switched.
We just California. We just like to go find cheaper property, infiltrate your election system.
Yeah. And then overtake the House, the Senate, and the presidency.
Yeah. That's what they breed
I
us
don't
for
like.
out here.
Yeah.
They're like, go east. Yeah, it's kind of.
We'll give you a free bus ticket. Just go.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they used to do that to a lot of here in my hometown in Santa Barbara. They used to give the homeless people bus tickets and send them to other cities, and then the other cities found out about it and try to sue the city.
They must have dropped them all off in Oxnard.
Well, no, they were actually sending them to Bakersfield. Yeah, they were. This is like 30 years ago. And they were, yeah. And then they caught wind of it in Bakersfield, and they got all pissed off. Can't really say I blame them.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, take our homeless people.
Yeah, there you go. No, they're a gift.
Yeah. I got to admit, I'm ashamed sometimes I'm from California these days. Just so you know, Pablo, I'm we don't really feel that great about ourselves all the time.
Yeah, no. So that was your primary residence, and what was your second property?
So the second property, because I did not have a lot of capital, but I did have my real estate license. I knew a guy, and a deal came. Somebody wanted to sell his house. And because it was his mother's that had recently passed away, he didn't. He probably gave it something like at least 15,000-20,000 below market value. So it was worth, based on my calculations, about 150,000, and he was willing to take 140,000. He was willing to take 120,000. But with me not being able to get a loan, what I did was I talked to that guy that had cash, and I told him, listen, I don't have, obviously, the cash. I cannot go for a mortgage. What do you think if we bought it 50-50, and I have this amount of money to put in the deal, so you would basically lend me my 50%,
Yeah.
Creative financing.
So we worked exactly. So it was like we bought it cash, but essentially I got a loan from him for my half, and whatever commission I made from the seller, because I did make a commission because he had given me the listing. I basically threw it back in the deal. So that's
because you were a real estate agent and you get your 2.5% nut or whatever it is.
Correct. Yeah, because initially, I listed it as I would list every property, and as a real estate agent, if I have an interest in the property of the seller, I disclose it and I say, hey, are you interested in, me purchasing it? So we worked out the details. He was okay with our offer. Mm-hmm. And that's how we got it. That was essentially my first investment property. The plan was to buy it and rent it out, and we didn't have to do much on that. The only thing I did is put tile and paint it, and put a tenant inside. So it was good. It was a good deal.
What do we call that, Steve? Lipstick on the pig, right?
Lipstick on the pig. Yes. That's exactly what we call it. Yes.
Put a little stockings and a dress on her, and she's good to go.
Yep.
I wouldn't characterize it as a pig, because a pig is if a property is really ran down. Because there are those properties and which usually in bad neighborhoods, but this one was inside the same neighborhood that I lived. I knew the neighborhood, a good neighborhood, and the quality of tenants would be good as well,
Okay.
And that was the
Yeah, we get some lipstick on the pony.
Yeah, there you
Pony.
go.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
pony.
Exactly.
It's a pony. Yeah.
A white pony. It's a white pony.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful white pony.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yes. Just needed a cute little hat and some lipstick.
Yeah, throw a little unicorn on there would be perfect.
Yeah. So that was your second one. So now you're pretty much out of cash again. And what do you do on the third one? Are we saving up money at this point, or how are we moving on to the next one?
I'm trying to remember. The third one basically. It was a regular MLS deal.
And
my partner
describe that.
Yeah, the MLS deal is properties that are listed with real estate agents, and they're everybody can see them.
Okay, that's when you get on the MLS list that all the real estate agents
exactly. When you open the Zillow as a regular buyer, when you have an agent working for you and he's sending you listings, it's the regular market, the retail market.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. And not the wholesale market, where the real deals are.
Okay.
But back then, we're talking about 2014. 2015, you still were able to find deals on retail,
Okay.
So my partner, he liked my overall plan, and he was basically, willing to finance the deals that we were doing. He had some cash, and I told him, as soon as I'm able to get a loan, build some credit history, we would cash out refinance. I would pay him off, and we would continue to the next property. And so basically, it was like recycling the same capital from property to property and leaving very, as few cash as possible.
Okay, so you've refinanced the second one or your primary residence?
Whenever I was able to get a loan, that's when I refinanced my first property.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you use that money to buy the next one.
Yes.
And Pavlos, did you put down 20%, or did you do what kind of loan did you do trying to get that third property?
With my partner, you mean?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Basically, I was putting down the 20% of my half.
Yeah.
And financing through him the 80% of, again, my half.
Okay.
But at a certain point, when I was able to get loans, traditional loans, we started doing cash out refinances. So, for example, the whole capital that I had put on my first one, I was able to leave inside from the original cash only $15,000, and I cashed out everything else. So then I had a lot of cash that I could use for whatever I was doing.
Okay. And that was like a home equity line of credit, or how did you do that?
No, I did your regular cash out refinance, but for an investment property, because at that point we had already moved in Miami. I had a steady income to show, and that's when banks were willing to do business with me.
Okay. And you, how many do you have now? You have 8?
Now I have 8. Yes.
Now you have 8. So you basically rinsed and repeated here. You put down 20% on any new property that you got, and a lot of the capital that you used was from the primary residence that you refinanced.
Correct. Yeah, but at the point that I was able to cash out my refinance and refinance my first property, at that point I didn't have the need for my partner to lend me the money. I had the cash. I had my 50% of the deal, and that's when we started going after auctions.
Oh, cool!
Interesting.
Off the so you went started on wholesale as opposed to
correct.
retail.
Yes. I never tried to do the wholesale. Basically going after. When you do drive-throughs and you try to find, potential sellers that are desperate to sell, and you get them in a really good discount. I never did that. I went directly to auctions because I found it easier for me. Because don't forget, I still I have a day job, right? I have a day job. I was working at that restaurant. I did not have the unlimited time. Plus, I was in Miami, and all these properties were in Daytona. So we are 4 hours away. 4 hours away.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But auctions was nice because you open up the website, you go, you see the properties. Initially, I was just looking at the auctions so I can see how the whole system works and who you could tell when a property is actually going to go to a third party and when the property was going to go back to the bank. So I learned by myself that process. It wasn't very complicated. I thought it would be, but it wasn't. And after the first one, that's how I bought the second one, like that. It was three actually. Three actually properties were from auctions.
So the two types of so there's the MLS, which is kind of like the list that everyone knows that all the real estates have access to, and then there's wholesale. And is it like wholesale is auction is one subset of that? And
yes,
maybe foreclosures is another one or something that might not get put on the MLS, or
you got to find the foreclosures are the ones that already have been foreclosed on, and the county is putting them for auction through the county's website.
Okay.
Yeah, you're probably talking about the pre-foreclosures.
Okay.
Whatever that means. It's a term they use. Yeah, pre-foreclosures, which means that you have already, have not paid your lender, and all these wholesalers, they're getting the notifications that you are in trouble. And you started receiving letters,
you haven't paid your mortgage for 4 months.
Yes,
we got a problem child here.
Yeah.
And all the jackals, the jackals are around you.
It's like National Geographic's out there.
Yeah, exactly. You got 9 vultures just circling overhead.
You're like, I don't know. We got to cross the Serengeti.
Yeah. That's too personal for me, so I never did go after those. I mean, there are certain people that do it and they're good at it, but I prefer the auction. I prefer the how do you call it when you're not face to face, and not knowing anything.
Oh, it's silent auction.
Yeah, silent.
It is kind of silent. It's in a computer. My job was only to go through the auction list and find potential deals. I had I was paying a guy just to drive by and give me as much info as possible, because obviously you don't have any info. Whatever you see from the outside. And I told him, listen, I if you're able to peek from the windows, do it. Don't get shot.
Yeah. Give me as much intel as you can. I want to know if I'm walking into just a complete rebuild, or is this a good deal?
Yeah. Well, know what you're dealing with as much as possible.
Exactly, because when you buy from an auction, you never know what you're going to buy, and if you have not done very good calculations and have a little bit of wiggle room, things can go south very easily.
Yeah, you can really lose your ass.
Yeah. I was kind of lucky. I had a title company on my side that they were doing all the lien searches. So I knew before I bid if there are any other liens that, were not shown,
That's very good.
Yeah. I had made a nice system there to do it, because again, this is just like a side hustle for me, real estate. I mean, I like it, but it was a side hustle, not my main profession. Like, those big flippers that are there, and, they're really very, very competitive and all that.
What, so it sounds like you just kind of rinsed and repeated this process until now. Did you put 20% down on every rental property as you moved on?
When you do a cash out refinance, when it's an investment property, the bank lets you, depending on the bank always, but they let you cash out about 75% of the value.
Okay.
So, for example, if the appraiser said, 100,000, I could pull out, 75,000 and
Okay.
leave 25,000 worth of equity.
Yeah.
The goal was never to buy it 70, put 30, and then cash out it for 100. The goal was put 70, put 30, and now it's worth 130. You see? To create value. That was all the deals and all the analysis that I did in every property. The goal was whatever I'm going to do here, I want when I'm done to have added value. And that's how, you basically make money from real estate.
So you're saying that, let's say you got so you pulled out, you lost me with the 70-30. You're saying this has nothing to do with the 75-25?
Okay, so let's say you buy a house 70,000 and
okay.
Yeah, and you put in labor and materials and all that, and your holding cost, whatever cost you might have, you might have went to a hard money lender, right? Let's say you don't have any money, but you find Steve, and Steve says, yeah, okay, I'm going to give you 100,000, and I want this interest. Okay, that interest would be inside the cost. So you add all that up, and let's say it would cost me 100,000, right? So total. 70 plus 30, total 100,000. When I'm done, I want the value, the added value. That's where I actually made my money. If I had found a very good deal, and when I'm done, it's worth 150. You created $50,000 out of your efforts.
Okay, you're saying that the house would appraise for 130,000 after you've fixed it up and you're ready to rent it.
Yes. So when you go back to the bank, because we used cash to do all that, when you go back to the bank and you cash out 75%, that's more than or close to the 100,000 that you originally put. You see?
Okay, and then you roll that money into the next one?
Exactly, yes.
Interesting.
On to the next one, and on to the next one, and on to the next one.
And so you end up keeping mortgages on these places. So you're initially buying the thing outright, and then you're fixing it up, and then you're refinancing it and pulling 75% out and putting it into the next one. And since they're kind of each increasing in value just a little bit, you're able to buy bigger and bigger places. Is this what we're doing?
Same places, more or less in value.
Okay.
But you're able to purchase more.
You're able to purchase more, and each one, you still have a mortgage on it, but the rent is more than the mortgage, so you get a positive cash flow.
When I told you that every deal that I was looking into, there were certain criteria. So the first criteria is, okay, how much I'm gonna buy it, and how much I need to put in as repairs, right? So you have those two metrics. Then you need to see how much is gonna be worth after you're done. So you have that number, and then in order to make sense as a buy and hold investment, then I had to calculate how much rental income I'm going to have and how many expenses I'm going to have. And in the expenses, you have the mortgage, you have your vacancy, your taxes, insurance, maintenance, capital expenditures. You put all those numbers together, and then you see if the deal makes sense.
Yeah. So you got to find places that are really good deals.
Back then you could find it. Now you can't. Yeah. I mean, I haven't bought a property for 2-3 years because numbers don't work. I mean, and I'm not going to force the numbers. If the numbers don't work, it is what it is. It's okay.
Yeah.
I can wait.
Yeah. In the meantime, you're getting positive cash flow and you're paying down these mortgages, or actually your renters are paying down these mortgages for you.
Exactly. I have the deals always are calculated to be positive cash flow. And I try to be as what's the word?
Selective?
Cautious.
Okay.
With the numbers as possible, because, for example, when the coronavirus hit, my partner calls me. because I'm the one that's managing, right? He had the money. Like every deal, somebody has to offer something from their end. So I had you could say expertise, real estate expertise, and the willingness to do all the work. And the other party had the money. I mean, that's how you find partners.
Yeah.
Each
Symbiotic.
one complements exactly complements the other. So he had the money. So he is paying me basically like a small fee so I can run the properties, you know?
Oh, so
I'm
you're
basically paying
managing all of
myself.
these yourself.
Yes. Because
And you're doing these are all in Daytona, and you're doing this from Miami?
and I'm doing it for Miami. I mean, at this point, I have a good system in place, as you can imagine. I have a property management software.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have. I mean, my lawn guy is my eyes at the
Properties,
houses. He
yeah,
goes
yeah.
there. Yeah, he goes there every once in a while, and if he sees something, he texts me. He tells me, "Hey, I think she got a dog, for example. You know,
Yeah.
She's parking her car on the front
Yeah.
lawn.
I think she has a new boyfriend.
Okay,
I have
don't
video.
laugh. Don't laugh.
She bought a new
I have
dress
that
last
information,
night.
too.
You're like, yo, I wanted information, but not that much. Yeah. Just kind of like the Airbnb maid. You know what I mean? Let you know what's going on. I got it. I like it.
Exactly. I heard your show. Yeah, pretty much more or less the same thing. You know, you have your main guy that can report things like that. Then, you know, I have some contractors that I've worked in the past, and, you know, they can take care of whatever unexpected problems come across. The only difficult thing that I have is tenant turnover. The fact that there are single family houses, I don't have that often, you know, compared to an apartment building, for example, that where you can have a turnover every month, you know, on a different apartment. With single family houses, and that's why I decided to go that route of the single family houses. They're more hands-off type of investments, and tenants, they're going to stay there for longer period. So I might have to do a tenant turnover every 2-3 years in each property, you know, in some instances, even more, you know. And I mean, whenever I have a tenant turnover, that's where I'm a little bit more concerned, and I have to, you know, find a way to do it. But, you know, it works out.
Do you usually have to go out there and you probably got to go out there and look at it yourself? But these turnovers are only happening out of 8 properties, probably once every 3 to 5 months or something. So it's not that big a deal. Not even that. Not even that. I mean, last year I did not have a turnover, and the year before, for example. Oh, wow.
For 2 years. Oh. Yeah, exactly. So it can take a long time.
Okay.
But again, you know, my lawn guy, he can take care of a lot of things, you know.
He's not just a lawn guy.
Maybe he's like like your Margarito, Daniel.
Oh yeah, I got a Margarito. Yeah, he's
kind of a handyman too, right?
Handyman.
Yeah, he can do the small stuff. He can do, and you know, and he can take care of, for example, showing the unit, okay, or telling me, do I need to hire somebody to clean up the house? You know, things to that extent, you know, or you know, or those things that do not require me to be there. Maybe I'm going to give him something extra, and he's going to take care of those things for me. You know? I can save the trip and time.
Okay. Yeah, he's exactly your. He's the long-term version of the short-term rental house cleaner.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it. The lawn guy. That's a new one. I like it.
Yeah.
You have to look beyond people's actual jobs.
Yeah. Job title landscaper.
Yeah,
duties,
you have.
On the other hand, duties are much more than cutting the grass.
Yeah.
Everybody has potential. Everybody.
In addition, I also have my uncle, and my uncle in the area, he used to be a maintenance manager for an apartment building.
Oh, perfect.
So he's a really, really great resource of items, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. Huh.
That's
So
a good little system, man. I got to tell you, that's a good little system right there.
Yeah,
You got
no
it all.
kidding.
Covering the bases, we call it.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. So, hey, Pavlos, any advice for, just, great information, but, just people like Florida area looking to buy. I mean, not necessarily even maybe this year. I know you're kind of waiting, but just any advice you could give people looking to buy, an investment property. Just anything at all, any
Yeah, some
tidbits or
golden
anything?
nuggets, like, mistakes you made that, like, oh wow, well, I
I
did
wouldn't
this
do that
once. And
again.
yeah, stuff like that.
I mean, obviously everything worked out for me because I went in, I don't want to say, oh, I'm a real estate genius. I mean, it's like buying a stock when it's very low and now it's super high and you're instantly a stock genius. No,
Yeah.
I don't want to say that, because I did buy in a good time. But I would say trust the numbers, always do your calculations. Now you're going to ask me how am I going to calculate the numbers? Okay, you're going to have to study real estate, man.
Yeah.
You actually got to take
You're going to
the
have to,
time.
yeah, take the time, open books, listen to podcasts. There's so many resources out there. I mean that you can easily, sit and read and really, create your own worksheet, of the things and have some criteria. Everybody has their own criteria, but for example, I never looked at a deal. I started with the rules of thumb, and for example, rule of thumb is if the property is worth 150,000, are you able to get 1,500 rent? And this criteria is based on my area, right, Florida.
1% of what it costs.
Yeah,
Is that
the
what you're saying?
1% rule
Okay.
they call it. That's a rule of thumb. That's for me to even consider analyzing the deal, and then I went more to the numbers. And when I say numbers, I had to calculate. Okay, I had to do when you do research, you have to learn, and that's something like an art, and to appraise a property correctly. What's the value of this property? But all those things, because I was a real estate agent and I did so many comparative market analysis, I was able to get a very good feel. Same thing with the rent. Am I going to get this number or am I too optimistic? I always try to be, very conservative with my numbers. And then I calculated all the expenses, whether that's a vacancy, whether that's a maintenance or capital expenditure. And the difference between maintenance and capital expenditure is that, okay, you have a roof. How many years of life does that roof have? Maybe it has 5 years worth left. You need to calculate that, if you put all these expenses, you have to put it on the side because one day you will need your AC replaced. You will need your water heater replaced. You will need a roof. You will need something, that's going to require a big capital. All that is calculated when I do and work on my numbers. And I had a very okay number of 10% return on my investment. And that was my basis when I put all that into my calculation. And I said, okay, when I'm done and I have a tenant in and I have cashed out the money, and this is the cash that I'm going to leave, this is the money that I want to make, for example. You see?
So if the mortgage was $1,000 a month, I'm sorry, if all your expenditures and everything were $1,000 a month, you want to be pulling in and making $100. So you want to be getting 1,100. Is that correct? You're getting 10%.
More or less, yes.
Okay.
No, actually, no. What you described right now was your cash flow.
Okay.
It depends how much cash you left in the property. If I had left, for example, $12,000, and I'm making $100 a month, that's when I would have a cash on cash return on my investment 10%. 100 times 12, 1,200.
per
and
year.
I had the left per year. Yes, per year.
Ah,
And I left.
okay.
You see.
Okay, yeah. So you're saying regardless of what the rent and the and your what the rent is and what or I'm sorry, what all your expenses are and what you're bringing in, the cash flow, you need that to ratio. So if you left 25K in the property, that's what you had to put down. That's what's invested in it. That's what you're saying. Then you need to be
that's
clearing
your
2,500 a year.
Exactly.
Huh. Okay. I haven't thought of it like that before.
Yes, and then when I do another calculation is my total cash on cash return, because you can add your debt pay down, because every month your mortgage goes down, right?
Sure.
Not your mortgage, the
Principal.
the mortgage amount goes down.
Yeah.
So that amount, you might not see it, but as far as return in your investment, that's a considerable amount.
Yeah. Basically, your net worth
up.
is kind of going up by that
Yeah.
amount every year or every month.
Yeah. You add that number to calculate your total return on investment. That's another metric that you need to see as well.
Okay.
It's the hidden return, and then the cherry on top is obviously appreciation. But I never looked at appreciation. And I just see it as the cherry on the top at the very, very end. And when I say end, 10, 15 years from now.
Yeah.
Because, for example, the first property that we started this conversation, the one that I put the total 100,000, right now it's worth maybe 190,000.
Okay.
Almost double.
So exactly. So the other property, the second property that I bought it, for example, with the paint and the tile, 145,000. Now maybe it's worth 210.
Okay. Yeah.
So and this is, we're talking 7-8 years after.
Yeah.
So, but again, if I calculate it as a return on investment, we're talking about how much? 500%.
Oh wow!
You see that the number, the number goes crazy.
Yeah, it just keeps growing.
Yeah, because the total cash in that first property is $15,000 after I cashed out, right?
Yeah.
So if you calculate a return on investment, my investment is $15,000, and I managed that $15,000 besides all the positive cash flow from all these years, besides the debt paid down, I had an appreciation of $90,000.
Yeah.
That's why I love real estate.
Yeah. Huh. That's pretty cool. I was talking with my brother, I don't know, a week or two ago, and we were talking about real estate. He's looking to get another property, ironically in Florida. He's going to Jacksonville, though, because he's got to move there for work. So he just bought one. He's going to rent it out. He's going to get a little nut coming in from that every time, because I think he put down like 50% or something. So he'll be able to rent it out at a pretty good profit. And he's going to go buy another one. And one thing we were talking about was, there's, you'll have in a tract of homes, you'll kind of have the low range homes, and then the mid range homes, and then the high range homes as far as prices and square footage and like that, so maybe just to make it simple, we'll say that, some of the homes in this area would sell for 200,000, and then other ones that have a little bit more square footage and maybe a little bit nicer amenities would sell for 250. And then the top end ones with the biggest square footage and the nicest amenities and doorknobs and stuff would sell for 300. And he was saying that he likes to look at the ones that are in the lower category, the 200K, because there's going to be, there's more room to move up in that neighborhood. You might be able to turn a 200K place into a 240 place, or maybe a 250 place by sprucing it up, getting nicer doorknobs and cabinets and whatever, fill in the blank. flooring, and then you would be able to, so you can get an extra 40K or 50K out of the 200K place. But when you go up to 300, you're kind of at the top, and putting those same type of upgrades and stuff into the place may only get you to 310 or 315. If people can afford
investment.
What's that?
What type of investment now are you talking about? Are you talking about somebody getting a property and aiming in appreciation?
That's a very good point. I didn't think about that. I guess just kind of all around. I mean, that would apply to both a rental and a primary, wouldn't it?
It all depends. What's your goal? For example, my goal was strictly as a rental. That's why I said the appreciation for me was just the cherry on top.
Okay.
So because when we start discussing about appreciation, that's more speculative investing rather than positive cash flow. And one thing that when you're starting and your capital is very low, you need to aim to growth, and growth is going to come through cash flow and have that stability. We're not in a point that we're going to look at let's see how the city is going to start evolving. Let's go buy in that neighborhood. We don't have millions on the side that we can afford to let it there and sit for 10, 15 years until growth hits it. You know what I mean?
That's called living on hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, Pablo. I think you're absolutely right. It's like, you got to make sure, regardless, does this deal work? Can I get cash flow? Do the numbers work? Bare bones. And I think that's a really good point you make, is not looking at, the appreciation and looking at just more of as a cherry on top, because again, that can go up or down. I mean, we just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Right. So.
I mean, statistically, we know that how much real estate is going to appreciate,
right.
in the long run, and real estate, this form of investing is long-term, because my goal is to reach a point that I'm going to be able to replace all the income that I'm making by working from my passive income.
Yeah. Have you played oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Got excited.
No, tell me. Played what?
The
Monopoly.
The cash flow game?
I've heard about it. I mean, Robert Kiyosaki was one of the guys that influenced me, and I was hearing his audiobooks when driving. I'm exactly that guy that listens to all the audios, and and that's why I was listening to your podcast, with your motivation and this and that. Yeah, I'm exactly that guy,
Okay. Yeah. What you're describing is exactly what he teaches, and what, it's a great game, especially anyone listening with children, over the age of like 7 or 8, get the cash flow game. It's like $50, and it teaches this principle like to a T through a game. So it makes it fun to learn. Cool. It's, yeah. Okay. Sorry, I totally interrupted. I got excited.
Yeah. When I was growing up, we had Monopoly. I mean, basically that's what it is. Monopoly game. You buy one house, you buy a second house, you buy a third, a fourth, then you build a hotel.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I remember those purple ones weren't that great though. What was that like? The purple houses towards the end. So.
I don't remember.
Towards the end was the towards the end were the expensive one. In the beginning,
is that what it was? Oh, maybe the purple. I remember there was some purple ones I used to never like. That's all I remember. It was somewhere around there.
Yeah, at the end was the blue, and the beginning was.
Okay. I think, yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right. Yeah. So.
Huh. Well, this is pretty cool.
Stay away from Joe. Stay away from Joe.
Yeah. Unless you got the card. Unless you got the card to get out.
Get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
When you're doing these loans, you listen to the one where we had Rob on, where he's doing the short-term rentals, and he's like, yeah, they're all primary residence loans, and he was able to, we'll call them, use some techniques to be able to secure primary residence loans, what turned out to be rentals. Are you doing that, or are you making the numbers work with doing this as a rental property?
I know all the tricks, but again, you have to define. You have to define what type of investing you want to do, because what I just described you, what I did was strictly, it was one form that had a little bit of creative financing. Finding a guy with capital and help me out in the beginning. If you don't have that, then you have to go to other forms of financing. And one of those forms is, for example, I'm going to go and instead of buying my first house, in the $200,000 range, if I look in the future and I want to see where I'm at, then I'm going to go and buy the duplex of the 150,000, live in the one side, rent the other, until I accumulate capital to then leave from that duplex, rent the other half, and go to another property. When you live in, then you can get the FHA loan, in the beginning, and need very few capital. And you can use FHA on your next property, on your next duplex, until you reach a point that you say, you know what, I've been doing this for 5-6 years. Now I'm ready to go and buy my main, my nice house and start reaping. What's the word?
Reaping the rewards.
Reaping the rewards.
Exactly. Yes. So me, I all the loans, all the cash outs, refinance were investment loans. So the higher interest, my interest rates rate from 4.25 to 5.25, and all in between.
Okay.
And you can also write off your depreciation every year, because those are all listed as investment loans as well, right, Pablos?
Yes,
So
yes.
So that's another big benefit. I mean, of not doing it as a primary as well. So having those as investment properties, you can write off that depreciation, which is a pretty good amount every year.
While we were in the growth period, and we had a lot when we were every 3, 4, 5 months we were buying a new property. During those years, I was always able to report a loss in my taxes. And now that everything is stabilized, and I don't need to spend money towards repairs, and we have not bought another property, now we are starting. We have to show the profit. But depreciation is standard in every rental when you have. Yes.
Right.
And what are your plans? Like you mentioned, now you haven't been able to buy a property for 2 or 3 years. Are you, you're waiting for it to get cheaper, right? You're not done at 8. You're probably going to get more, or are you tapped out here? How do you feel?
I don't know. This is something that I do want to expand. I do want, but the numbers just, I have not found a deal that work. And in order for me, for example, when this Corona thing started, I said, you know what, I need to do something. Let's look at the auctions, right? A process that I already know. Let's see how does it look at there. And I was talking to my title agent, and she said, because the state freezed all foreclosures, a bunch of investors have accumulated so much cash, they don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
It's a terrible problem.
Yeah. That's a first world problem right there.
First world problem all the year.
I just have too much money. Oh my God.
God, geez, what do I buy?
So you cannot find any deals out there. I mean, and I don't. In order to find a deal, you have to search for it very, very hard. It's not gonna just come to your lap and say, "Oh, look, I'm a good deal."
Yeah. Let me give you a free lap dance.
Not gonna happen. Well, exactly.
Yeah.
How often have you seen that? Have you ever seen that? A free lap dance right where you're sitting there? Oh.
No, someone's always got to pay for it. It's usually your best friend when he's really drunk, but it's got to get paid for.
Steve, that would be you.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, where do you see
So,
yourself in out of 5, 10, 20 years with the real estate here? Are you
I
like
did
what?
discuss with my partner,
Mhm.
and I told him, listen, I want to keep these properties. I mean, I like cash flow.
Yeah,
I like the extra income on the side, and since we have a good system in place that does not involve our time that much, why not, keep them and enjoy extra income when we actually retire? Because when you decide to retire, then what you can do, for example, right? Let's say you have 10 properties and almost everything has a mortgage.
hmm,
You could put down again the numbers and you can say, okay, I can sell that property and pay off all the mortgages on the rest of them,
yeah,
or sell 2 properties and then have no mortgage and just
yeah.
have income.
free and
You
clear.
see?
Yeah.
Yeah, then that's when you're going to reduce your return on investment, but you're going to increase the cash flow. It all depends what you're aiming. That's why when you talk to me about your brother at Jacksonville,
Yeah.
you have to tell me what type of investment, what is his goal, you know?
I would, now that you've asked me about that, I would say that his goal is to buy one as a primary residence, which he's eventually probably going to rent out.
If he's looking eventually to rent it out, then buy the lowest, obviously the lowest tier house.
Okay.
But probably at those numbers, I don't think the numbers are going to work.
Okay.
Usually,
Yeah.
those type of properties, you don't want to keep them as rentals. You know.
They're too nice
Um,
or something, or
Yeah, rentals, there's a sweet spot of value of properties that makes sense. And it's not from the 200s and above. And
closer to 1 to 170, something like that.
anything from 150 and below, I would say.
Okay.
We just
150,
can't get into those in Daytona right now, can we? So
yeah, if you just cannot find those type of deals anymore.
yeah.
And that's why I'm looking at for example, multifamily. Multifamily, you might be able to find, but again, as somebody that's just starting in real estate, it's going to be very hard for him to start a multifamily deal. Maybe a fourplex, a duplex,
Yeah.
something
So,
like
hey,
that.
Pablo, any like suggestion for people out there, just kind of looking, or maybe in the near future, would you just in your personal opinion, suggest maybe kind of holding out and waiting for the cycle to kind of roll through, which would they generally say it's about 7 to 10 years, but maybe looking more 2022 or maybe later in the year, or just any insight on just kind of where things are at market, and do you think things are going to turn at some point?
I don't know. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
It's like your 401k plan, right? They don't tell you, okay, don't put money because we're the stock market is very high. They always say, just buy, and it's going to cost average. Real estate, you cannot actually do that because a mistake can be very detrimental.
True.
Right? It can be because if you buy something
Buy a bad
and
deal,
you
right?
buy
Yeah.
it, and you buy it, let's say 200,000. Okay, so that means you're going to put down, let's say you bought it as a primary residence and you put only 5% down, and you okay, I put down only 10,000. Okay, so that means if the value from 200 it goes down to 190, there goes your investment.
Yeah.
Just a little tick like that in real estate values. So I don't know what I would advise somebody. I think if I was, let's say I had nothing, I just was starting, and I love real estate and I wanted to do this, I would look to buy a duplex for sure. You know, live in one side, or fourplex. Live in one of the units and rent the rest, the three of them. Because with FHA, you can get up to a fourplex.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So,
and I bet if you spruced it up a little bit, and you might be able to, the other three tenants could just pay. You could essentially live for almost free.
you can find the deal, but again, you have to put the work. You
Yeah.
have to go out there and find that deal. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
But that would be the best. I mean, I don't know if any 22-year-olds are listening to this show.
Oh, we have
because
quite a
it's
few,
pretty
yes,
boring. Oh, okay.
but probably not
Okay.
enough that can get a fourplex.
Oh, 3.5%. I don't know, Steve. Not too much. The FHA 3.5%. I did one of those. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that would definitely be my advice. You know, go after, find a deal like that. You know, you're going to be the on-site manager, essentially, right? You're going to be
Yeah.
living there. You're going to have the tenants next to you. You're probably going to have to knock on the door to collect the rent and, you know, all that good stuff. But it's a good learning experience. You learn. I mean, I've reached a point now, you know, working with so many tenants that you can tell more or less as soon as you get the application. Actually, there are a lot of things from the moment they call you and they contact you for the to express their interest to the property. From the whole process, you can tell if he's going to be a good tenant or not. You know.
Yeah.
All
You've
that
been
is
doing it
learning
enough now. You
experience.
get a feel for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right on.
that's another subject. You know, that's more property management. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I believe today we discussed about the sales, right? Buying the property, construction. We talked rehab. We talked about property management. You know, handling the tenants. It's you know, math with putting together all the numbers. It's not easy. You have to put the work.
This was really good. Thank you, Pavlo.
Yeah.
If you guys are interested in poker, which a lot of our listeners are, you guys can go to twitch.tv/Kaspav, and that's spelled Kasspav. You can watch Pavlo play live on America's Card Room. I was watching him the other night. I clicked in as your 2001st follower.
Do you get anything for that, Steve?
Some other guy beat me by like 4 minutes. I'm all shit. I could have been 2000. Well,
you get like a free
congratulations on all
T-shirt.
those, followers. That was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I do a lot of stuff, and obviously real estate is one thing, poker is another, and whatever I make from poker, I basically put it back in real estate type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And everything works nice all together.
Right on.
As long as you're winning in poker, right? You don't want the money that you earn from real estate to put it in poker.
No, that's what we call going in the wrong direction.
Yeah. That's the carriage before the horse.
Yes.
Exactly.
And you guys can follow him on Instagram. It's Kaspav, spelled the same, Kaspav Poker. The links will be in the show notes.
Yeah.
Well-
You wouldn't imagine that a gambler, you know, like a poker player would do all that stuff, right? You were surprised. Tell me the truth.
Oh, you mean the real estate and everything?
Yeah.
I would say a professional poker player, this is pretty common. I would say casual player, probably not so much. It's the same thing, though. It's just gambling and numbers and math. You know what I mean? Like, I've taken a real interest in stocks over the last couple of years, and it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, you realize, okay, I have pocket aces. I win here 80% of the time. So I'm going to try to bet as much as I can in this exact situation. It's the same thing with stocks. You see a setup, you're like, okay, this is a good price. I think I win out here 65%, 35% of the time it goes down. That's a bet. You know, if you think you're going to lose there 65% of the time, then you hang on to your money and you don't bet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Poker was a good school. You know,
What's that?
It was a good school. Poker in general. You know, from studying and learning. You know, odds and strategies and all that to bankroll management. You know, everything. Whatever you learn in life and you use it, you know, the right way, you can succeed.
Yeah, and parlay it into the next one. Right on. Well, thank you, Pavlo, for coming on.
Yeah,
this was
Pablo,
a lot of fun.
thank you, man.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
appreciate it. Appreciate it. And thank you for tuning in. Here is your weekly motivational speech.
All of us have things that we're believing for, something that we want to accomplish. Deep down, we know it's a part of our destiny. We can feel it so strongly. But then we hit some setbacks. We didn't get the promotion. Life has a way of pushing our dreams down. They can become buried under discouragement, buried under past mistakes. There are dreams buried under divorce, buried under low self-esteem. It's easy to settle for mediocrity even though we have all this potential buried on the inside.
Why did you give up on your dream? Why did you say? Why? Why did you let that dream go? The dream that meant so much to you. Why did you let it go?
Your dream may be buried. The good news is it's still alive. It's not too late to see it come to pass. And we've all been through disappointments and setbacks, and life happens. But instead of remembering the hurt, the pain, what didn't work out, the key to reaching your destiny is you have to remember your dream.
Many people get hit by life, but they never hit back.
Are you going to stay down, or are you going to decide to get back up? Like a man possessed, you got to go get it.
But to win fights, you gotta have stamina. You gotta be ready to fight and bounce back. Punch and counter punch. Jab and jab back. Let me tell you something. Life is a series of fights.
I need you to hold on. I need you to hold on strong and don't give up. I need you to believe in every possibility that you have and understand that it is not over for you.
Championships aren't won in the theater of the arena. They're won in the thousands of hours in the training room, in the labs, in the 5 a.m. runs, in the training, when everyone else is sleeping. That's when it's won. The heart of a champion is a light switch that's always on. It doesn't go on and off when someone's watching. It's constant. It's how you look at something. If your name's attached to it, and you do it right, the best of your ability every single time.
That is you. That is you. That no one can do it for you but you. And even though you face disappointments, even though you will experience some setbacks, it goes with the territory. You must understand that. What if all of us took that attitude after we face a rejection and a no, or we have a meeting and no one shows up, or somebody say, you can count on me, and they don't come through? What if we have that kind of attitude? The car's repossessed. Nobody believes in you. You've lost again and again and again. The lights are cut off, but you're still looking at your dream, reviewing it every day and say to yourself,
In spite of what you went through, in spite of how you suffered,
you're still looking at your dream. Say to yourself,
it is not over.
until I